Hello, my lovies. Sit back and relax. And let's wait for the show to begin. We're trying to get some more people in here. But if you're watching the replay, you can either listen to the music and relax or fast forward this and skip straight to the show. Hello, Brooklyn. How are you, my love? Today, I have discussed a lot of narcissism, which we have seen through various intellectual gangsters. We're seeing it through the nature boys, the young pharaohs, the polites, and blah, blah, blah. Our next door neighbor, friends, families, mothers, fathers, where people experience a lot of narcissistic abuse. So one day I was telling somebody about being a supernova and they didn't understand what supernova means. So supernova means a high, the super empath, right? This is why I don't let you empaths get away so much with saying, well, I'm an empath and they're attracted to us. When you can feel there's nothing there and you know better. Some of you haven't reached this point as an empathic person. But I tell you time and time, you can't have one without having the other. Life is always a balance. So if you got a narcissistic person, which is different levels, the same thing goes for an empath. There are different levels, right? So we can't banish them. So, because one could take out the other, one could take out the other. And maybe you don't know how to go supernova. Maybe you're not a super empath, but you could still be an empath. And don't think anything. Hey, Nicole, do not think anything is wrong with you because you went crazy and deranged. But this is for my empath, right? But we can't get away. We can't do away with narcissistic behavior because the opposite of narcissist is empath, right? So you got one person who feels absolutely nothing, right? They don't feel nothing. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, who is more dangerous? Who is more dangerous? You got to ask yourself, the person who feels nothing or the person who feels everything? So you're dealing with a person who feels everything, you will get bad behavior also. Now, empaths is not just as good as you think it is. They can get downright dirty too because they feel everything. So, one, narcissistic people are justified because they feel nothing. And then one feels everything, but they both sort of kind of do the same thing. Except for one really cares and one don't have any feelings. When you push them in past, remember, it's levels to this. It is levels to this. So you got somebody who doesn't feel nothing, who feels everything. So if one person feels everything, they don't hide under a rock. They let you know how they feel. They may really hurt you. They may really hurt you because they feel everything. So while you're dealing with a narcissistic person who feels nothing, dealing with somebody who feels everything, and they're on a higher list of being an empath, woo, chow, 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 chow. That would be the war of the roses. So don't forget this page is also about education because you need to learn, and it might be you or it might not be you or it can be you. You can become that super empath person. But it's not, I'm telling you, the difference is after it's all said and done, that super empath is drained. They are drained. They are drained. And they feel really bad. But it had to be done. It had to be done. Then super empath is the one that can tell when something's wrong, and like if they know that they friend can't fight, they'll be the ones that will stand up for the friend. They'll be the ones doing all the fighting. And you're like, well, damn, you so nice. You will be empathetic and care about people's feelings, not knowing, yeah, I do care. I care too much. And I also can feel how you making this innocent person feel. So now I have to get you. Okay? So let's get right on into this, like right now. Hopefully, you guys learned something. The narcissistic versus the super empath. And I mentioned supernova to you guys before. You didn't understand. And today we're going to show this, and tomorrow we're going to show that. That's why them narcissistic people, they stay away from empathic people because they don't know if they're empathic and I can use you, or you a higher empath that was going to give them a taste of their own damn medicine. And then some. And then some. But the bad part about it is, being that we do have feelings and emotions, we feel bad. So let's get this party on the road. Hey, Nicole, my baby. Let's start. This lady and the other lady I'm going to show tomorrow, I love them dearly. I love them dearly because everything I say, they put into words. Because I wasn't doing YouTube at that time. So these are old videos, but it's still relevant today. Let's go.
after each video. Thank you so much for enjoying the video, sharing the video, liking the video. Please feel free to write me at destinyhepper12s@gmail.com if you are interested in sessions or you want to write a letter concerning the videos. Destiny Hepper 12s at gmail.com. If you're interested in sessions with me, write me. Let's talk about it. I want to talk to you about a subject today. Many of you write me. There is this great interest in the empath. And what happens, you say, when the narcissist is injured by the empath? Let's talk about this. People who are empathic absorb emotions. They are very intrinsic when picking up different things in a space area, in a room. And sometimes there are so many emotions until it's hard for the untrained empath to exclude all of the background emotions and feelings. And sometimes it can be so confusing and even draining when you're on the job, all market, and there's all of these barrage of bashed at you and pushed at you, and you feel almost like pushed on you because empaths are a.
What is wrong with her sound?
And what happens is when you get an experienced empath, these empaths, they channel their energy very methodically. They are very intentional, and they reserve energy and use their wisdom rather than to drain energy by going supernova with the super empath. And the super empath, it usually does better with a greater narcissist, because, or a upper mid grade narcissist, because the lower mid grade narcissist and the lower narcissist can actually be crushed by these super beings, because they cannot handle when they have crossed them. And a narcissist will cross. The nature of the relationship is going to bring them to a challenge point. And when they go to a challenge point and you challenge a skill, experienced super empath, a lot of times
That's her. That's
finger,
her.
they will
Sorry.
go to any length to keep from going supernova. Because supernova, one of the ways that I can describe it, is like the movie Ghost. You know, when the spirit
Thank
will
you.
jump in the body and use that person and then jump out of the body, and the person whose body is being used is weak and drained, and it take them a minute to get their posture back, to get their orientation back, because to go supernova is a barrage. That is a
What is
tremendous release. That's
this?
a lot of energy release, and it takes this energy from their mind, and energy from their beings, and energy from their will, and energy from their emotion. All of this at a challenge point when the empath feel like I can't think else. Boom, supernova. Well, when they go supernova, they are mirroring the narcissist as they go gray rock. There's no feelings. They get back at the narcissist. They're going to uh, uh, so there's no feelings. Some of them can be very combative verbally. Some of them can be combative physically, because they're at a driven state. They're not always in.
What is wrong with this?
So they are not just they're not responding. They're reacting, and a lot of times
That's
they
her.
they do
Sorry,
things
guys.
that later they may even regret. But you have impact. When
God,
you have an impact.
that's her volume that's going up and down. Bear with her. Bear with her and get all the information you need to get out of it. Or for tomorrow's class, we're going to still go over the empath and the narcissist. So just that's her going up and down. I had to double check, make sure everything was muted. Everything is muted. But as I'm looking at her lips when it goes down, it's still her. But just listen to the lesson. Try the best that you could try to listen to the lesson. Okay? I'm sorry. But I have to listen to the same thing y'all hear, but what she speaks is very important. So let's just check her out, okay? All right.
That's in witchcraft. They do spells. They set the narcissist up to be cursed. Like you may have narcissist a bit of your item that you touch, kissed, or drunk out of, or to use witchcraft against you, where they assign different curses and entity against your life, and it take you to failure points that nothing you do make it. With some of the empaths that are in do the same thing. They take the narcissist to breaking point. They take the narcissist to fail point. They take the narcissist to looking at themselves in the mirror. And the moment they look at themselves, the curse is released. There are different avenues of vengeance that is manifest from the super empath. And remember, the super empath, they are the fixer up. They are there to help. They want to fix up the narcissist. They want to help the narcissist. They feel like they are the answer to the narcissist. They can help them in whatever situation they're in. And when the narcissist tests them and test them and test them and try them, because the empath of their 100%, all of their mind, all of their soul, beings have more compassion. They're empathetic. Some people are sympathetic. They can understand what you're going through, even though they don't feel what you feel. Difference with the empath, they feel what you feel. They know what you're going through. All of their soul is engaged. All of their emotions is engaged. This is different from the prophetic. The prophetic is from the spirit realm. The empath comes emotions, and they can take it in deeper, but they are coming from the brain with challenge points. So the narcissist, when they are wounded, the narcissists always feel that they win every battle, because most narcissists feel they're smarter than the supply. So when you will love bombing, they lock you into that point right then where they think I'm smarter than you because you didn't get away. I hooked you. I was able to hold you for 3 months. I was able to get you for 6 months. And sometimes the narcissist will, it's almost like being with an android, where uh their emotions. Sometimes they're almost emotionalist. You wonder, what are you feeling? Because I can't pick up on you. And the narcissists start looking for places where they can know what they're feeling. And when they do, and the narcissists know the empath, they try to change, and they keep shifting and changing. And a lot of times valuation point, making them feel bad, because if they feel for the narcissist, can you imagine when the narcissist allows the themselves and they feel bad, and he keep telling them and talking to them, telling them what they're not, telling them what they don't have, telling them how they can't love them, telling them what they do wrong. And the more the empaths try, because they want to do it and they don't know. Would devaluate goes for the juggler with red salad and word salad.
If you need to be relocated, and of course to make a record within the legal system to help you escape your abuser or your tormentor. And so hopefully you guys are learning something from this. Um, First of all, today I would like to talk about what we've been discussing and my mentor has been discussing. I wanted to come because I have had someone ask me, what is a super empath? And so I wanted to break down the codependent, the empath, and the super empath. Believe it or not, the super empath is a bad, shut your mouth. That's what they're pretty bad. When I say bad, bad meaning good, not bad meaning bad. First of all, let's look and see. First of all, you do understand that on the narcissistic spectrum, for narcissists, just like for the empaths, they're on a spectrum. So you have the low, mid grade to greater narcissist, and that is not economic status. A greater narcissist does not necessarily have to be a person that has money, fame, fortune. A lot of them do. A lot of greater narcissists do have money, and they are empowered by the money and the wealth that they have, but it is not based on the socioeconomic status. It is the amount of time or the growth within that narcissistic spectrum. So remember, the lower narcissists are ones that they don't understand really what they're doing. They just like the feeling of what they're doing, meaning that they're tormenting, they're harassing, they're controlling. These are the ones that cannot control well, all of them can't control the impulses. It's just more insidious at how they do what they do. And so the lower narcissists are the ones that will kill you. They're also violent, physically violent, to family and to the partner, or the partner that the partner thinks that they're in. The partnership is really not a partnership. It's a hot mess ship. But they are they like the way it feels to do what they do. And so it's like, I do this and you respond this way. I poke here and then you scream in pain. So they enjoy the pain that they inflict. They just don't know it's not it is not perfected yet. A mid-range narcissist, as you go up the spectrum, a mid-range narcissist begins to understand that what they're doing is a cause and effect. They haven't mastered the skill yet. They still have violent streaks in them. But they haven't mastered it totally, but they know that when I do this, this happens. And when I do this, this happens. They're still mastering that skill, their skills within the narcissistic spectrum. The greater narcissist, these are the ones that are hidden in plain sight. These are the ones, all of them have this charisma. They manipulate. You guys understand, we've talked about it. You guys have talked about, the narcissist. Well, the greater narcissist has perfected that skill. These are the ones that are hidden in plain sight and very hard to encounter, or I mean, not encounter, but hard to a lot of times to recognize. These are the ones that take a lot of time. They have a lot of patience, and they take a lot of time in studying the subject or the victim that they're after next. These are the ones that will study you on social media, watch how you act, watch how you speak. What are your interests? What do you say? What is it that is a weakness for you? So if you're the type of person that likes to show off your body on Facebook all the time, they watch that. Everything to them is a cue. Everything to them, they watch every little detail: how you wear your makeup, how you wear your hair, how you take pictures, what do you talk about a lot, what do you brag about a lot. If you're really into your looks, they know to hone in on that. But they will even come ride by your place of residence, or find your place of residence, find where you work, and ride by to study you, watch you in crowd. They're in plain sight, but you don't know that they're there watching you, studying you. These are the ones that will invest in a background check to check out where you've lived. And I think my mentor has said that. Check out where you live, check out your interests, check out your education, school, the people that you've been around. They take a lot of times to study their victims, and they are capable of inflicting the utmost amount of pain and damage to your heart, where a lot of people have committed suicide, and then that's along the spectrum. So that is the narcissistic spectrum. Well, on the empath, you do know that you have autism, which also has the low, mid grade to high empathetic, and those are not narcissists. Some narcissists are actually autistic as well, and some of them are what you will call the Asperger, to have the Asperger's. But autism is a whole different spectrum itself, and then you have these are all the disorders, problems with empathy. Now, then you have the empathy spectrum, where you have people that have empathy. It's okay to have. You're supposed to have some type of empathy, or I think something is wrong with you, or most people will think something is wrong with you. And so, healthy empathy, meaning that you're able to put your feet in someone else's shoes and feel empathy and still be able to work, but you don't absorb them. And so now, speaking on the, I'm sorry, trying to get myself together, but
Now you got to remember, guys, you may be an empath, but some of you don't know. Some of you can't get to that supernova stage. Some of you cannot, because you're not a high level empath that can go supernova. But sometimes you didn't know that you can go supernova because there was a boundary that you didn't know you had. And when they pushed that button, it was all she wrote. It was all she wrote. Sometimes people have boundaries, but a lot of people lose their boundaries when you're dealing with these narcissistic people or sociopaths or whatever disorder you have. But you got some people that are super empaths and don't know it until they press a button you didn't know you had, and then all hell break loose. You want that narcissist would not be bothered with you anymore. He's gonna find a new supply, and you're gonna feel bad. Because remember, we still have deep emotional feelings. Like I said in the beginning, you can't have one without the other. You can't have an empath without a narcissist. And there's different levels to narcissism. There are different levels, just like there's different levels to empath. So once they know these things, these empaths, they feel really bad because they knew from the get-go, I felt nothing from this man. Maybe you don't feel nothing. So how can you force yourself to thinking that you can save them? Because that's what empathic people do. They think they can save people. They think they can save any and everybody, but not a narcissistic person. But they try anyway. And a lot of them get destroyed. I mean, they are destroyed. But they didn't think about, hey, Dre, but what he did think about is that supernova, when they turn supernova, they turn supernova on you, girl, boy, that's all she wrote. So I just want you to know you can't have one without another. So you can't have a narcissistic person. He cannot have That's why a lot of them ask questions. And their questions are they trying to find out if you're an empath. They want to find out how much empathic are you. They want to know if what they're doing, hey Valerie Ames, how are you? They want to know what they're doing is going to affect you, or they know it's going to affect you, but they want to know what level are you on? Are you in the level that I'm going to destroy you, or in the end, you're going to destroy me? But the difference is, again, one is not going to feel anything. They're going to lick their wound and find another victim and do that victim extra dirty. And the super empath didn't want to hurt anybody. It's going to feel really bad to the point they're going to have to retrieve. But they didn't know. It's just like something just clicked. So we're gonna. I love this lady too. Please check her out. Anybody I show on here, I like them. If I don't like them, I'll let you know. And please share the channel. And if you haven't hit that like, hit that like. Like right now, let me see my likes. Hit that like. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button like right now. Take this time and hit that subscribe. Let's grow together.
Now speaking on the empaths, so on the empathy, so you have what's called the codependent. So you have codependents which have traits of empathy, but it's confusing. Codependency is a term that was used and it was developed when you dealt with in alcoholic anonymous or for alcoholic families. The codependents are ones that are enablers. Those are the ones that enable the alcoholic or they enable the person with the problem to continue having a problem. They're the ones that need to be needed, need to be wanted. They can be very manipulative, and they assume that their compassion and their need to help people is a plus. It means that they love people. And so here on Site Central by Darlene Lancer, she has a I think JD's a jurisprudence, which is a law degree, and is a marriage family therapist. She gave some symptoms of codependency. And so let's see. Let's look and make sure I didn't miss anything out to make sure I describe this. So codependency is characterized by a person belonging to a dysfunctional, one-sided relationship where one person relies on another for meeting nearly all of their emotional and self-esteem needs. And so you have a codependent in a relationship with a narcissist. They totally depend on that narcissist to fill all their needs. You know, this is a disaster waiting to happen. Some of the, it says research also found that the codependent symptoms got worse if left untreated. And so, but it is reversible. Some symptoms of codependency, there's a list, and you don't need all of them to qualify as codependent. Low self-esteem, which you also find in narcissists or even in empaths. Low self-esteem, they never feel good enough, or they always compare themselves to others, which is a sign of low self-esteem. Let's see, people pleasing, they have a problem with people pleasing. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to please someone you care about, but codependents usually don't think that they have a choice. Saying no causes them anxiety, and some codependents have a hard time saying no to anyone, even empaths. But we'll get to that. So to go out of their way to sacrifice their own needs to accommodate people, they feel like, you know, people pleasing, this is something that they're supposed to do. They're obligated to do it. They have poor boundaries. And let's see. Let's look. They have blurry or weak boundaries. They feel responsible for other people's feelings and problems, or blame their own on someone else's. Some codependents have rigid boundaries. They're closed off and withdrawn, making it hard for other people to get close to them. Sometimes people flip back and forth, having weak boundaries and having rigid boundaries. Reactivity, they react instead of respond. And so because of the poor boundaries, they react to people's thoughts and feelings. You can't read people's mind, but they react off of what they think a person might be thinking about them. If someone says they disagree with them, they either believe it and become very defensive, but they absorb their words because there's no boundaries. Let's see. with a boundary, you'd realize just their opinion and not a reflection of you, and not feel threatened by disagreements. Caretaking. Another effect of poor boundaries is that if someone else has a problem, you want to help them to a point that you give yourself up. And they're talking about codependence and signs and symptoms. It's natural to feel empathy or sympathy for someone, but codependents start putting other people ahead of themselves. In fact, they need to help and might feel rejected if another person doesn't want help. Moreover, they keep trying to help and fix the other person, even when the person clearly isn't taking their advice. And so, caretaking versus caregiving, they have this insatiable need to be needed. So they have to fix your problems, even when you're like, "I got this," and you saying, "I got this, I can take care of it myself." To them, feels like rejection, and they feel like they feel rejected, they feel hurt, they take it very personal. They do have a problem with control. So control helps codependents feel safe and secure. And so everyone needs to control. Okay, we get past that. Let's look. People pleasing and caretaking can be used to control and manipulate people. And you'll find that some codependents are very bossy. They tell you what you should and shouldn't do, and this is a violation of other people's boundaries. They have a dysfunctional communication, so codependents have trouble when it comes to communicating their thoughts and feelings. And let's see, they're afraid of the truth, or they're afraid to be truthful because they don't want to upset people. So instead of saying, "I don't like that," they may pretend that it's okay or tell someone what to do. Communication becomes dishonest and confusing. And so when you try to manipulate the other person out of fear, it's codependent. Obsession. A lot of them have obsessive problems, obsession problems. They become obsessed when they think that they made or might have made a mistake. Sometimes they lapse into fantasy about someone you love, or a way to avoid pain of the present. Let's see. Dependency. Codependents need other people to like them to feel okay about themselves. So think about a codependent being in a relationship with a narcissist. They have that insatiable need to be liked, and a narcissist uses this as a weapon against a codependent because they have this fear of being rejected and abandoned. And so let's see. Others always need to be in a relationship because they feel depressed or lonely when they're themselves, when they're by themselves too long. So this trait makes it hard for them to end a relationship, even when the relationship is painful or abusive. They end up feeling trapped. So imagine a codependent in a relationship with a narcissist. A narcissist will tear their minds and hearts up. And they like codependence because it's easy to really just manipulate that codependent. And many codependents, you'll find them trying to commit suicide or having committed suicide, or you feel that you'll find them hospitalized or in inpatient treatment because they cannot handle the pain inflicted by a narcissist. They deny. Let me see. A lot of them deny that they have a problem. They will explain it away, let them know that this is, you're supposed to care about people. They deny their feelings and needs. Let's see. But they pay attention to other people's needs and not their own. They might be in denial of their need for space and autonomy. And let's see, they're needy. They're very needy people, and they act self-sufficient when it comes to needing help. They won't reach out, and they have problems receiving. And their denial for vulnerability and a need for love and intimacy. So they deny a lot. They deny that they have a problem. They look at everybody else's problem and they need to fix the problem. They're fixers. They have a problem with intimacy, and this means intimate relationship, not sex, but intimacy, because they always feel that they're always in fear of being judged or rejected. Let's see, and painful emotion. Codependence creates stress and it leads to painful emotions. Shame and low self-esteem creates anxiety and fear about being judged, rejected, abandoned, making mistakes, being a failure, feeling trapped by being close or being alone, and other symptoms that leads to feeling of anger and resentment, depression, hopelessness, and despair. So that is codependent. And with the codependent, a narcissist will have a field day. And a lot of codependent people, they do have empathetic traits, but they're more codependent. And so they and like I said, it comes from, the the term comes from alcoholic families when they created this, the theory of the alcoholic family and the codependent and people that were in the midst of an alcoholic family. But codependents are enablers. They enable people instead of helping them and allowing them to be responsible and accountable for their own feelings. A codependent will enable you to continue that. They're the ones that give you money to get the drugs. And so with a narcissist, they enable the narcissist to continue their bad behavior because they feel like they have not done enough to help the narcissist get, or change or help them heal. And the narcissist knows that and will use that, their emotions, and they'll use that against the codependent. Well, the codependent, being as fragile as they are, you will find a lot of codependent trying to commit suicide, self-injury, eating disorders, and you'll find a lot of them in the hospital, hospitalized, inpatient treatment, because the narcissist will tear their minds up. So now let's talk about the empath. But just so you guys can look here on what are empaths, 14 empath traits and scientific theories. I'm not going to read the theories, I'm just going to read some traits. And this is the lawofattraction.com, empath traits. And so here is, let's see, they describe, who's the author? Catherine Hurst. And here she talks about, people that have just got an argument, or people that have all this high energy, like ADHD or bipolar. Uh, also, in some cases, empaths may generally are confused by what they pick up, and they take responsibility of what they pick up. Someone is sick, someone is hurting. You tend to pick up on those emotions and take responsibility. So you are drained. You begin to lose energy because you are so in tune with another person and your desire to help them feel better that you literally take upon their pain and their energy and their hurt. And so here are some traits. Empaths are highly sensitive, emotional. They're very open, easy to trust, and very responsive to emotional experiences, whether their own or someone else's. Let's see, they're often introverts and need alone time, and so they love. While you likely love intensely and generally care for people, your propensity to take on emotion means that alone time is essential. Indeed, most empaths recharge when they're on their own rather than deriving energy from social situations like extroverts do or narcissists. Let's see, they're easy targets for manipulators or narcissists. Narcissists like empath. Um, issues. So empaths tend to be people say they're great listeners. Okay. Empaths are good listeners and they listen. And some empaths, as you're talking, create a three-dimensional picture in their head. And so when you talk, they create a picture in their head of what you're going through or what you're saying. Let's see. And they put on other people's shoes. So empathy, having empathy and being an empath, meaning you're able to put your feet in other people's shoes. No one is better at doing this than someone who intuitively picks up on emotions. Let's see. Empaths are wonderful at putting a loved one's feelings into words and making them feel understood, respected, and less alone. Consequently, empaths often gravitate toward jobs that involve listening, counseling, and teaching. They hate to say no. So a lot of empaths have boundary issues because they hate to say no because they don't want people to be disappointed, desperate. Desperate, sad. So a lot of them have a problem with saying no. And so if you're an empath, that's a gift. It's okay to be an empath. But the problem is, number one, a lot of you got involved with a narcissist. So you did not learn to balance your boundaries. And so now you're coming to the time to know how to use empathy, but how to step back and say no and create your own boundaries, which for many of you is very hard to do. Let's see. If you're an empath, you also are used to doing emotional labor for other people that you may just automatically expand this to induce general favors if you are already overburdened. And so even within the clinical setting, young therapists, we teach them that you have to allow the people to do the work because a young therapist will have, they're so desperate to help people heal that they take upon and do all the work instead of holding the people that are coming to counseling accountable, or making them look for the answers. You give them the tools and then they want you to do all the work instead of letting them do all the work and discover and get the aha or the revelation of what they're going through. They want you to explain everything. They want you to do everything. And so they come out of counseling exhausted, burnt out, and some of them vicarious trauma. They're good lie detectors too. Their ability to pick up on lies. A lot of you pick up on those red flags, but you went past the red flags and got involved with the narcissist anyway. But you picked up on the red flags. You knew something wasn't right, but because of the goodness in your heart and because you have that tendency to want to see good in people and you have that hope, the narcissist rides off of that hope and they ride off of the goodness on you. And that's why they're able to manipulate you. Even though you pick up on the lies, even though a lot of you step back like, I knew it all along, I just went past the red flags. You got the caution signs. They suffer from fatigue and anxiety. See, let's see. The level of kindness you extend to others may be downright exhausting. Let's see. You're busy trying to carry people's emotions, listen to their issues, and help them solve their problems that you may become physically fatigued or emotionally strung out. So a lot of empaths are susceptible to chronic fatigue syndrome and mental health issues like anxiety and depression. You can become very easily overwhelmed with which says empathetic powers, but you can be easily overwhelmed by your empathy. Um, let's see, and you have to learn certain techniques to separate your emotions. And it's very easy to sit back over and being overwhelmed again. Empaths love to be surrounded by nature because it brings you a sense of peace. Love being in a quiet place by the ocean, taking nature walks, just being by yourself and absorbing the environment and nature. You just want to be calm. Some of you guys like those, those noise machines that has the water playing in the background. And a lot of empaths are daydreamers. They daydream a lot. Uh, often empaths often neglect themselves in trying to help other people, so they tune out their own needs. And in extreme cases, they tend to self-neglect, leading you to become physically or emotionally unwell. Let's see, and an empath would take advantage of that. And as you go down, there's also scientific information in reference to some of the theories surrounding how an empath is an empath, and the way that the brain works. So you guys can go back on this site. So now let's go to the super empath. Let's find the super empath. Where is the super empath? Okay. So first of all, a super empath. So if you read studies, if you read, it talks about how children are born with narcissistic traits. So you see the young children growing up, and a lot of them have narcissistic traits. Mine, 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 me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And within, of developmental stages, as you're teaching children empathy, it becomes more of, they become more empathetic. They learn to, be respectful to people. They learn, the pain of others, and being, and some of them do, develop narcissistic personality disorder. But now you have a lot of people that do have narcissistic traits, coming from families that they were raised by narcissists. They may have been in a lot of narcissistic relationship, but there are some narcissistic traits there. However, they're still empaths. There are empathetic people, and a narcissist loves the super empath because of the fact that a super empath has a very high tolerance to emotional pain. Codependents have a very low tolerance to emotional pain. Empaths have a tolerance for emotional pain. A lot of you are suffering, but a super empath has a very, very high tolerance for emotional and psychological pain. They are very empathetic. They're very loving. They usually have jobs that deal with the public and people, and very highly empathetic, highly empathetic. And for a narcissist, it gives the maximum amount of fuel. You'll find yourself, making sure that narcissist, male or female, is well taken care of. You are the ultimate fuel for a narcissist. However, a super empath also has narcissistic traits. And when you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you actually pick up on some of their traits. You know what you feel like when they do what they do. And what happens is that a empath, when enough is enough,
Exactly.
when they've been through, some of you been through many years of abuse, many years of, this narcissistic a mess. Some of you didn't even know that you were in a narcissistic relationship. And what happens is, when enough is enough, you never can cut off your empathy. You are an empath, but you're able to put up your boundaries, shut it off temporarily. You never totally shut it off. Move it to the side temporarily, and you take upon narcissistic traits to begin to fight that narcissist back. And so what ends up happening is a lot of things that narcissist does to you, you do it right back. And
exactly. That's why I don't let people who are empath slide too much, including myself, because we know better. We know better when we still think we could change people, influence people, and change the world. But I would like to say a super empath is a little bit more dangerous because they can feel you. They pick up on your energy, and then they mirror you. Them are the people you really need to leave alone. Stop messing with them. Stop thinking, oh, maybe because I cry a lot and she feels a little. Y'all gonna learn. It be the simple, some super impact. They'll turn right into you in a minute. They'll turn right into you because they absorb. They absorb everything. Just like them, the ones that you would see in jail, and they be like, "I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it." That's a super empath. They truly did not mean to do it, but you got pushed, turned to that supernova, and then that narcissist didn't think that you had it in you. But like she said, which is absolutely true, you put up with a lot of shit, and then by George, whew,
And it becomes Battlestar, not Battlestar, World War Three, Star Wars. What is the other one? Star Wars, um, Battlestar Galactica. And what happens is your narcissist, you allow those narcissistic traits to come up against that narcissist because enough is enough. And what happens is for a lot of empaths who have not learned to regulate and have not become aware of those are narcissistic traits, you begin to fight that narcissist. It's called you shift into supernova. And once you hit that supernova, when enough is enough, you begin to fight that narcissist the way the narcissist fights you. You'll ghost them, you'll gaslight them, you'll manipulate them, you'll mirror them. Whatever they do to you, you begin to do to them. Whatever hurt them the most, you study them along with them studying you. And so you picked up on a lot of things that they do and a lot of their weaknesses, and then you reverse it and flip it back on them. So you do the same thing that the narcissist does. However, you're still empathetic and you still feel. A narcissist does not have empathy at all, does not have compassion, does not have the ability to bond. An empath, even a super empath, still does. But when enough is enough, you kick into supernova. And when you kick into supernova, it is narcissist against narcissist, even though you're not a narcissist. And you become the narcissist's worst nightmare. And you get to a point where you'll put your empathetic feelings to the side to do what's best for you, and that's to leave the relationship. You'll focus on healing and getting away. And the narcissist, out of his character or her character, just out of their nature, will just continue to attack you. And what they don't realize is that you have the ability not to react, but to respond. If you'll study what they're doing, and remember we were talking about the greater narcissist that sits back and watches you and studies you and picks up on you and does background searches on you. Well, what ends up with a super empath, they begin to do the same. If you don't leave a super empath alone, they begin to do the same thing, and they purposely inflict the maximum amount of pain and narcissistic injury on that narcissist. For the lower and mid-range narcissist, this is like a blow that is so hard it knocks them off kilter. It knocks them to a point where their head is spinning, and a lot of them would try to get away from you because they become afraid of you, and they go find another supply, or if they have a secondary supply, everything that they wanted to do to you, that new supply or that secondary supply will end up paying for what you're doing. Even with the greater narcissist, a greater narcissist doesn't know when to stop. And so if you beat them at their game, they still calculate to try to figure out how to get you back. But what happens is it's almost like they headbutt. And so on the narcissist scale, you have the greater narcissist. On the empathy scale, you have that greater empath. That greater empath is the one that's capable of going supernova and has narcissistic traits. These bad boys or bad girls, these right here are the equivalent of the greater narcissist. And when they have had enough, but they're the greater empath, meaning that they give the maximum amount of fuel, they'll take care of you, big hearts, do anything. And the narcissist loves it. They crave this type of fuel. But what they don't realize is that when they shift into supernova, When they've had enough is enough, they kick right into narcissist, and it becomes the battle. It's like the clash of the titans, because then and what happens with the super empaths, they have to learn, because some of you guys, you try to go after that narcissist with everything you got to make them pay, and they do suffer. But the problem is you don't know when to stop, and then you have to learn that you can't fight fire with fire, and that the narcissist will keep coming after you, even though they're being cut, stabbed, destroyed. They're fighting this battle with this super empath back to back to back, and every time they're ramming against you, you two are ramming heads, and that is what a super empath is. Let me give you the definition of the supernova. I mean, of what supernova actually is. Supernova in the Merriam-Webster,
Hey,
the explosion
Rico.
of a star in which the star may reach a maximum intrinsic luminosity 1 billion times that of the sun. Wait, I explain it. One that explodes in prominence or popularity. Check this out. So where do supernovas take place? Okay, let me skip down. What causes a supernova? Now, I want you guys to think from the perspective of an empath, a super empath that goes supernova, dealing with a narcissist. Okay, think like this when I explain it. Okay, so a supernova happens when there is a change in the core, when you have a realization, when you finally had enough, when you finally said that's it, when you finally realize you're not going to change and you're really out to destroy me. A change can occur in two different ways, with both resulting in supernova. Check this out. The first type of supernova happens in a binary solar system. Binary stars are two stars that orbit the same point. Narcissist, empath, orbiting the same point, right? One of the stars, carbon oxygen white dwarf, steals matter. Okay, check this out. This to me was funny. A carbon oxygen white dwarf, the narcissist, the little dwarf that makes himself look bigger and larger and more empowered, and they're really a dwarf. Okay, a carbon oxygen white dwarf, the narcissist, steals matter from his companion star, from the person that they're connected with their supply. They're stealing matter. Okay, hold on. Let me reverse it. Let me go back. Let me rewind. Okay. Let me rewind. It just sounded really good when I was saying that. But in actuality, one of the stars, a carbon oxygen white dwarf, actually is the supply. Okay, so it actually is the empath. So I apologize. But it sounded good for just a minute. I was going to just start cracking jokes as I was going. Okay, let's go back. So one of the stars, a carbon oxygen white dwarf, which is actually the empath star. Okay, is actually the empath star, steals matter from its companion star. Eventually, the white dwarf accumulates too much matter. Having too much matter causes the star to explode, resulting in a supernova. And so what happens is you the white dwarf star, which is the empath, you're absorbing so much. That super empath is absorbing so much, taking so much pain, because you have a very high tolerance to pain. So you keep on taking it, and you're really not stealing it. You're absorbing this. But you're also paying attention to what they're doing and how they're doing it. You're very intuitive. Remember, you're very intuitive. You're picking up on certain things. You're beginning to have that realization, but you're absorbing this. And eventually what happens is you got too much in you, where it gets to a point where like enough is enough. And all of a sudden you flip the script and you go supernova and you explode. When you go supernova, you shift from empath, which you'll never stop being an empath. That makes you different than a narcissist, because you do have empathy. You never stop being an empath, but you're able to subdue your empathy for a moment, and you begin to operate as a narcissist. You go after them, you explode and go after them with all the narcissistic traits that actually were in you in the first place. The second type of supernova occurs at the end of the single star's lifetime, when you've had enough and you've run your course with this narcissist. As a star runs out of nuclear fuel, you've run out of fuel to give this narcissist. You choose, I'm not giving you no more fuel. That's it. I'm done. You're not getting any more fuel from me. Some of it mass flows into the core. It starts flowing into your core. That's it. I'm not giving you no more fuel. Eventually, the core is so heavy that it cannot withstand its own gravitational force. That's it. I can't stand this gravitational force. You don't put too much on me. You don't put too much in me. I'm tired. You're not changing. The core collapses, which results in a giant explosion of supernova. And if there are narcissists around and you go supernova, that's it. That's head to head, headbutting. The sun is a singular star. Okay, it talks about the sun, so it won't do the sun. But think about it. That is supernova. When that empath finally has had enough, and that narcissist has done enough to hurt you, a super empath just all of a sudden shift and go supernova on you. And when they explode and go supernova, is narcissist against narcissist. And so just like the greater narcissist within the narcissistic spectrum is like the greater empath. They're on the same playing field. The greater narcissist, the super empath. So see, the super empath is very powerful. The thing is, though, is that you have to learn not to fight fire with fire. You're smart enough to respond instead of react. And when you go supernova, you're reacting and not responding, but you're going toe to toe with this narcissist and you're causing the maximum amount of injury to that narcissist. You're doing the same thing the narcissist is doing to the supply on a all the time basis. A super empath does not do this at all times. When they've been fed up, that's when they do it. And they go straight supernova and cause a lot of damage. And the bad part about it is when you've done and you go back to being your old empathetic self again, you're super empathetic, you actually feel bad about what you've done. Wow, I can't believe I did that. It is so wrong. And that makes me just as bad as the narcissist. But see, you have the ability to feel empathy and feel bad about the situation. A narcissist doesn't care. But do know that narcissists always try to figure out a way to get you back, especially the greater narcissist. You beat me at my game. Now I got to figure out how to get you back. They'll come back 10 years later and they think that they've perfected the game. They just don't realize that you'll go supernova on them again. So hopefully this has helped you and gave you some explanation of the codependent empath and the super empath and how powerful a super empath really is. So those of you that are super empath, recognize yourself as a super empath. You're pretty powerful. But remember, you can't react. You have to respond. They want the reaction, but they have no idea what's in store for them. They want the reaction from the empath and the codependent. They need that fuel. But what they don't realize is with a super empath, once you hit that core, once you tapped in it like oil, and that supernova happens, they're not prepared for what, they literally fear, but it's a challenge to the greater narcissist. To them, it's a challenge. But what they don't realize, it'll tear a narcissist up. But you got to be careful because you can't fight it, because a narcissist never sleeps. They always think of how to get you back, even years later. So hopefully this has helped you, gave an explanation of what actually this dynamic is. Now, this was a long video because I wanted to take time to teach you about it. And that's why I kind of waited a little while before I did it. I need to make sure I had time to do it.
We're going to see the second part of the first lady, which it was really good. I don't know what happened with her sound, but maybe she explained basically what that lady explained. But see, these are the things that you have to get to know about yourself. It's different levels to everything. Just like when you come here, it's different levels to Sugar Love. I don't know how I'm gonna play. I don't know which emotion, but I always got to teach. I always have to teach you guys. So if you're empathic, if you know that you're not a super empath, you know what you see. Get away from narcissistic people. If you are a super empath, get away from narcissistic people, because you will end up in the orange suit. You will end up in the orange suit. Wondering why. And you're going to feel so bad. Because when you're an empath, you don't want to hurt nobody. It's like if you hurt somebody, it's like hurting yourself. Or if you disappoint somebody, it's like disappointing yourself. It's like everything you do, you feel it. You literally feel it. Like if people come and tell you about your day, I'm like, please don't tell me about your day. I don't. Some days you got to really stay to yourself and give yourself enough time to rejuvenate, to charge, and then go back out in the real world and deal with real people. But you can't do it all the time because people don't understand how deeply you feel something. And if you feel something too much, it might not go the way for the person who's doing it to you. It might not go the way they thought that it was going to go. Mm-mm. No, no, no. Now, if you come across that person that's really nice, the next thing you know, they tore the whole damn room up. You're like, what happened? I gotta stop pushing people. Stop pushing them buttons. But there's a super empath. They haven't met one yet. They may, oh, I'm empathic. No, it's levels to that. And them narcissistic people want to hear your levels. They would like to hear your levels, so they know what to do with you. Remember, we a supernova, we know what to say. We know what to say, yes, ma'am. Okay, we're going to try out this part 2. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
This video, I'm excited about doing this video. I have received numerous emails about the empath. Many of you are very fascinated with the super empath. And I got tremendous amount of emails asking me questions about the super empath, about supernova, about them being with the narcissist. And I have other videos. Please go to those videos and look at those videos. But I'm going to add some information to you tonight concerning the super empath. The super empath is amazing. They're not just regular people. They have extraordinary sensitivity to people, an extraordinary heart to help. They are usually gifted with mercy. They're gifted with compassion. They are very, very in tune with people's emotions. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Before I do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the page.
Yeah, like and
really
share.
Appreciate those of you who have subscribed. Thank you so very much. Please feel free to continue to write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. Keep submitting your questions and keep writing me your encouraging words of how these videos are helping you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, let's answer some of your questions about the super empath, this fascination that many people have with the super empath. The super empath is very powerful. They are men and women who are very sensitive, and the narcissists love them, and they love them for a reason. They are fuel packed. I mean, copious amount of fuel. The super empath can handle a lot of suffering because remember, they are your humanitarian, your doctors, nurses, and caring. They're on the mission field. And when they have businesses, they're very concerned about the workers and policies and making sure that you follow suit with what you need to do to make other people comfortable and to give excellent customer service. And that's the way they are with the narcissist. They come in, and sometimes the narcissist can be very difficult to discern because the emotions they have that are good is what they mirror and not what they exemplify on their own. So they're mirroring these emotions, and so the empaths try to pick up on them. And when they do, they do. The super empath is best with an upper grade mid narcissist or a greater narcissist. Any other narcissist, I mean, they'll blow them out of the water because the super empath has a mid spectrum. They are empathetic, but they can exemplify on the other side some very strong narcissistic traits. Even though they are not narcissists, they exemplify narcissistic traits. When you get them irritated, agitated, and when they go supernova, most narcissists will get out of Dodge. There are some narcissists that will contend with them. And you cannot underestimate a greater narcissist. Never, ever underestimate them, because they literally go after empath. It's just like looking for a shark to have as a pet. And so they go after the empath. They want them because they're loaded with fuel at great cost, because they have to be very careful with the super empath. They demonstrate all of the qualities and traits that a narcissist have, because any relationship you have with the narcissist, if you integrate into them very closely, you are going to suffer some things, whether it's deception, lies. You're going to devaluation. They go through this stance. That's who they are. So they're not going to change. So how they handle the super empath with great care, and strategies. But you got to remember, super empath, greater narcissists, these are not the young boys. These are not your inexperienced guys. These are people with skill. They don't have time. They don't have experience. Do you go see a new empath go supernova every week? Absolutely not. It would destroy them. It would just totally obliterate them. And when they go supernova, that's energy release, massive energy, copious energy release. They need time to recuperate. And sometimes the strategy of the super narcissist is to make them go supernova and to keep hitting them, hitting them, hitting them. Never give them a chance to recover. So they don't have a chance to recover. They actually go right back in for a major attack with the super impact. And the super impact will pull back, because the super impact, they're not codependent. They're very independent. However, the narcissist, some of the greater narcissists, has re-won them back and wheeled them back in, and they went for another round of torture, and then here they go again. And some empaths have learned that when they go supernova, the cost of it. So they're not always quick to just go supernova. Just because the narcissist act a fool, they will tolerate it, put up with it, and some of them leave. There's no escape. The super empath leaves because of their strength and because of their nature. They are naturally built to help. They are naturally built to be concerned with people. And so the super empath go into the extreme situations to get resolution. And because they can handle the extremity of pain, that's why the narcissists love them. They can handle some pain, great pain. What would destroy another person or a young empath, put them in a mental institution, from dealing with a narcissist, or suicide, from dealing with a narcissist. The super empath has a basis of strength about them to say, we are done. Boom. And they go supernova. The super empath a lot of times go toe to toe and contend with that super narcissist, because now it's not the empathetic side. Even though she's not a narcissist, he's not a narcissist, he have those traits. So those narcissistic traits hit that narcissist, and they are warring at their own game. So it's like they're fighting against themselves. And one thing about a super empath, when they've been with that narcissist, tolerate that narcissist, they start mirroring the narcissist with the supernova. So how can you mirror someone when it's you that they're mirroring? So it's you fighting against you. You can't fight against yourself and win, because you know your every move. And so you will counteract your every move. So the narcissist usually runs off, gets some temporary supply, gets some immediate supply, until that's when that super empath seem like they're coming down, the narcissist come back again. And I wish I could tell you that the super empath is strong enough not to be hoovered in. No, that greater narcissist hoovers the super empath back in, and they start cycling again. And because the super empath know what it takes to go supernova, a lot of them go in a serious restraint in order to go supernova, because it's like a bee that lose their stinger. Once they sting you, they lose their stinger. They lose the ability to sting. And so that super empath has to get themselves together when they go nova. There's no such thing as going supernova. You'll be in a mental institution. Releasing that much power is like a nuclear explosion from within out to the narcissist. Absolutely impossible. So they gauge themselves, they plan themselves. The super impact can be very methodical. The super impact can be very intentional. They can be very strategic in their attack because they're very militant in covering humanity. And so now they feel like they have to cover themselves, and they'll don't not only think of themselves. The super empaths start thinking, if I let this go, he's going to hurt other people. So they manifest in a supernova fashion. But the greater narcissist is not to be underestimated, because they probably have dealt with super empaths with the S and know how they function. They know when to back off, they know when to gear, and they know when they go supernova to keep hitting it like a rattlesnake, a young rattlesnake. A young rattlesnake just keep biting and biting, releasing that venom because they are inexperienced, where a rattlesnake will hit you, put that venom in there and back off. That young rattlesnake don't. He keep hitting you, and hitting you. And that's what the narcissists do. Get them to drain. You drain the supernova, you can break the supernova. If you break the supernova, they are all messed up. Some of them can be institutionalized, some of them go to their parents, but he crushes them. I never known one to be crushed to the point of suicide, but if they're drained, that's not impossible. So the super empath is very wise in what they do, and to go supernova, and with the narcissistic traits, that's their sense of protection to keep from being destroyed. They put up their shield. That's their shield. And so then the narcissistic ways are exemplified. However, they can be easily won because they're giving, because they're caring, and to trust. But the super empath is a very good judge of character. They are very good at eliminating background noises, background influences, because the young empath absorb everything. They absorb all of their environment. The super empath know that they absorb the environment, so they'll be very careful of where they go and who they allow in their life. They're very picky and very choosy. So when they all go with the greater narcissist, not only did the narcissist choose the super empath, but the empath chose the greater narcissist. And so the younger empath gets with a narcissist can be destroyed because they all about helping, they all about rescuing, and they don't know themselves. Excuse me. They are learning themselves. But that super empath, you want to know walking power from the sensory perspective, from the soul realm. That's the super empath. They specialize in the soul, the will, the emotions, the thought, the imaginary realm. They can go to the depth of the imaginary realm. So you got some super empath that may be witches, some super empath that may go even on the other side, where they're using their empathetic abilities to manipulate. And when they manipulate, they're usually the narcissistic traits. It's not the empathetic traits, it's the narcissistic trait, because everybody loves an empath. They're nice, they're warm, they're easy to get along with, because they can mirror you just like the narcissist can mirror you. And when they mirror you, they mirror your emotions to give back to you. And that was supposed to be to give back to you in healing. So the super empath learned to mirror the narcissist, and she give back to the narcissist what the narcissists want. And the narcissists always have holes in them. They always feel inadequate. They are not loving and they are hurting people. And sometimes the narcissists have hurt so much that shame and guilt, all of those negative emotions the narcissists experience. But to love you and to care for you, they don't. But when the super empath grows or fall in love with the narcissist, they fall deep in love with the narcissist beyond a regular ability to love because they are super empathic. And so these empathic abilities take them into different depths of realm of giving, realms of loving. And they're like magnets. They magnetize what they want to them, except the narcissists don't have what they need. They don't have the love. And sometimes even the super empath, they lose their ability by falling head over heels in love with the narcissist. They can forget. Once they discover what they discovered, they don't want to remember that he is a narcissist. So what they are pulling is negativity. They go through devaluation, but they're so in love and committed. One beautiful trait about a super empath is their ability to be committed to a task, to a relationship. And so they're committed to the narcissist, and they're committed because the super empath always want to heal, always want to resolve, and they don't like incomplete missions, something not done, because they feel inadequate when the mission is not done. So they're constantly trying to win the narcissist over, trying to resolve the narcissist, even getting the approval of the narcissist, and they keep on loving the narcissist. This is why you can have empaths that are with the narcissist 10 to 15 years, because their innate ability to go supernova should really prevent them from ever getting to this point, because when they go supernova, there's nothing the narcissist can do with them. Absolutely nothing.
You heard that? When a super empath goes supernova, people don't understand. I'm telling you, there's a lot of jails. People in jail because the narcissistic person drove them to the point that they flipped out. Sometimes people thought you were scared of them. No, I wasn't scared of you. I was scared of me. I was scared of me. That's why you gotta watch how you trigger people. You gotta be very careful. You can't go around triggering people and messing with people. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Now, let's check this one out.
A way to escape that narcissist and that narcissist abuse. It doesn't have, you know,
And this is Dr. Carmine Bryant. Definitely check her out. Where's she going? Looking all pretty.
a narcissist. It's irrelevant what their nationality, sexual preference, color, language, religious preference is. A narcissist is a narcissist, and narcissists do not change. And in accordance to the DSM, Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Psychiatric Disorders, hold on, let me pull it out. Sometimes I quote it and I misquote it. This manual. This is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorder, and this is the 5th edition. And according to this manual, statistically speaking, men are likely in a clinical setting, meaning in a clinical setting where clinically they have been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder.
The difference between me and that hyena, the gutter snipe, I bring you doctors. You hear doctors in front of their name. Or I bring statistics. I don't just go off running off at the mouth. I bring people this. I bring you. These are real doctors, unlike that hyena who set people up, who groom these girls to be with these narcissistic men and women. So thank you, Nicole. My job is to elevate you guys. And it's sad that I'm glad that you set up guys like to be educated. And hopefully y'all can dig into it more. Or or y'all can keep watching the show and I'll keep enlightening you guys. It's sad that you get a lot of people who just want to see Nature Boy eat rather than to learn about people like him. See, I can watch him because I studied many years narcissistic people like him. I studied the different levels. So my job is okay. I studied it. I looked at it. Then when Nature Nut came around, I'm like, wow, he's class book. He is a class book. He's class book. Because if you don't know these things, what you're gonna do with your boss, your neighbor, could be your kids, could be your you have to know what to look for. You have to know what these red flags are before you fall in love. So let's continue this. I just wanted you to know I bring y'all correct information. I don't know about that hyena, but let's go.
50 to 75% are men are likely in a clinical setting, meaning in a clinical setting where clinically they have been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. 50 to 75% are men, and the other percentage is females. So you'll see it a lot more, is more prevalent in men than it is in women. However, as you guys are coming on these YouTube channels, and we are finding from those of you that are talking to us about, especially the kings that are coming out, is that females are narcissists as well. You have female narcissists as well, and they are, a lot of them are very devious, all of them are devious, but they could be very vicious, very petty, over dramatic, use their femininity, as an advantage point. And so now you know that narcissist, has no boundaries. They have no boundaries. And for those of you, I did a video before, that they could care less whether they cross over sexuality lines. If they are heterosexual or proclaim to be heterosexual, a lot of them will cross over into a homosexual relationship or lesbian relationship, all because they want fuel. So you're doing a lot of damage, or they're doing a lot of damage, especially in having people believe you're one thing and you're not. And I read a comment by Red. She says ship shaper.
Hey, Christina.
And so remember, when you have connected with these individuals, and today I wanted to talk, I didn't even tell you what I want to talk about today, huh? Today I want to talk about what is it they hate about you so much, what they despise about you. And one of the things that I was reading one of the comments, and I went and looked it up because I know what it is, but I wanted to include it in what you're dealing with when you're dealing with this narcissist. And these narcissists move from supply to supply. It's almost like they're transients. They're just transients. They just have this wandering spirit in them, and they move from person to person to person to get supply to fuel them. I mean, they get supply to get fuel to fuel them in any way they can. So you have the primary, you have the secondary, you have the tertiary, well, the third supply, and they move from person to person, and they're vampires. They're modern day vampires. They're not vampires like you see on movies where it's all dramatical and theatrical makeup where they got the fangs and everything. No, they are soul hunters that suck the life out of your soul. They suck the life out of you, and you literally take upon. Remember the skeleton key. We were talking about the skeleton key. Go watch the skeleton key. That is a good example of an individual, a narcissistic in the way that they maneuver. And even a shapeshifter. Here on Merriam-Webster, it says that the definition of shapeshifter is one that seems to be able to form, or hold on, one that seems one that seems able to change form or identity at will, especially a mythical figure that can assume different forms, such as animals. You see them turn into werewolves and crows and all that. Those are shapeshifters. But you're dealing with a modern day shapeshifter, a person that looks at their supply and then mirrors them and takes the shape of that, or shifts shape and their mentality and the language of that individual that they're connecting with. And so that's why many of them will study you. They study you in order to pick up on your language, pick up on your lifestyle, pick up on your profession, pick up on your friends. They see something of value in you. And the thing that they see of value in you is the very thing that they despise, because they cannot shape shift into. I think there are movies where you see people turning into glasses of water. You guys remember Wonder Twins, from the Wonder Twins back in the I don't know what year
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
long time ago. Where you see the
Yesterday.
Wonder Twin power activate into a pail of water, into an eagle, but they shape shifted. They change into different things. And that's the same way that a modern day narcissist is. They shapeshift, but they just turn into the specimen that they're looking at. They look at the supply that they want, and they begin to, it's almost like they begin to take form of what they do. They take form of the personality and the character of the person, of the prey that they're watching. That's why a lot of narcissists, like the greater narcissists, they take their time in studying you. They study you on social media. They study you in your pictures. What is it that you like? Where do you hang out with? What is your language? What group of people do you hang around? What is your profession? What is your passion? What is your language? How do you act? How do you conduct yourself? What type of individual you are? Because they need to pick up on subtle cues that you don't realize that you're giving. Certain subtle cues. That's why a lot of people that are, online coaches, a lot of the coaches that are doing YouTube videos and channels, they become prime targets. They become prime targets for narcissists, because the narcissist watches just like you guys are watching. And they watch our language. They watch how we talk. They watch what we're passionate about. They watch to see how we dress. They watch to see what the audience is like. How do we cater to the audience? And they're able to blend in with the audience to actually talk to us, to respond to us, and that's why I tell you guys, even on these YouTube channels, social media, a lot of the people that you are interacting with and are exchanging information back and forth with, and even that communicate with the coaches that are on live, they're not all survivors. A lot of the ones that you're talking to are actually narcissists. Usually when I catch them, I delete them. But a lot of times, I'm not really focused on that. I'll focus on the language. I'll watch to see what is being said, and I pay attention. So I do monitor that. And I have TMG. She also monitors for me. She let me know what she sees, and then I go look. And so my goal is to safeguard you guys while you are on YouTube. However, obviously, I don't know you personally, so I can't, when I'm off camera, or when I'm not on live, I can't monitor your life. So you got to be careful when these people are wanting to reach out and connect with you. Do not connect with everybody on YouTube. I don't care what they sound like when they're talking. That's how they pull you in. And remember, you got shapeshifters. You got those that watch you and they mirror you. They listen to how you talk. They listen to what you do. And especially like videos like these, they'll go replay them to pick up on the language, to pick up on the body language, to pick up on the hand movements, to pick up on the lifestyle. They'll go look and research on Google. They Google you. Some of them will spend money on doing background checks. These background checks they have on YouTube, not YouTube, but on Google. You can do these background checks to find out where these people have lived. What was their careers like? What was their job references? Who are they connected to? They go look at the people that you are connected to. So this is how much work they put into getting that supply, or locking into that supply. Because once they've locked into a prey, they'll do anything to pursue that prey. Some of them are very careful because they know that whoever they're targeting can cause depending on who they are, can cause a major narcissistic injury, and expose them especially. And so you got to remember that with a narcissist, the thing that you think they love so much about you is the very thing that they despise later on. So they look at you and they look at the qualities that you have. The friends, you are a nice person, you are a popular person, you are life coaches, you have people, different things in life that you do, nurses or homemakers or mothers and fathers, any place, pastors and deacons and deaconesses and bishops and priests and You know, they watch to see what influence you have, and they desire that. They're so jealous over that because that is what they want and they can never have. The only thing they can ever do is mimic and mirror your attributes. They mimic and mirror your strength and your power, and they present themselves to you, but they're presenting you to yourself because they've studied you. So by the time they show up, they've studied you for a while. They don't just accidentally show up. They don't just accidentally appear.
Yep.
They've studied you,
I
and they
tell
put out
people
those
this.
little feelers to see
tell 'em.
where you are, you know,
Yep.
how you're going to respond to the comments. What are you going to say?
Yep.
You know, how are you going to encourage? You know, what are you going to do? They put out these little feelers to see how you're going to respond.
Yep.
You know, you got some of those narcissists that are ugly, you know, and I mean, let's keep it real. Some of them look like straight mud ducks, Shrek, whomever, you know, an opossum, you know, when they grin, they look just like an opossum,
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
but they'll put out, but their charms, those charms and those, that personality, it just woos you, where, you know, later on when you break away and you're around your friends, you're like, girl, I don't even know what I was thinking. You know, has he always looked like that, or has she always looked like that? And your friend's like, yes, they've always looked like that. And you're like, no, because they look so beautiful. No, because it was that fog, that illusion that they that like a skunk, they sprayed you. You can't, you know, your sense of smell is off, you know, or your sense of, you know, you are so, you know, mesmerized by their charms and how sweet they are and how wonderful they make you feel and how pretty you feel when you get around them, that you look beyond the look. Then you start making up excuses. Well, you know, it's not all about the looks. You know, it's an intelligent individual and I'm tired of going after look. No, you know they ugly. You knew they were ugly. You're just trying to play it down. And you know your friends are telling you that individual, you know, she looked like the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, well, the Wicked Witch on the West on certain movies was cute, you know, but you know that, yeah, Fiona, she looked like Fiona. You know, my favorite movie, Shrek. You know, so you know she looked like Fiona when you met her.
See, that's the one thing that really don't work, like the love bombing part. Because once I'm pissed, I'm pissed. I don't care. Your best bet is to leave me alone, or I get supernova on you. For some people, that's what I want. This is what I want my chat to realize. So when we watching these TKOs, I want you guys to notice everything that we do. And I'm gonna start going back again over the glossary, over the different words like love bombing and stuff. And we're gonna keep playing these things over and over and over. So next time I look at my chat, immediately when you see something, I'm gonna see you write it in the chat. And this will help protect you from the people around you. Remember, they Nature Boy can't touch you, but the people next to you can touch you. You know? So let's finish getting into this, because she's just about finished, but beautiful information.
And then your boys are trying to tell you, like, you do know, and you're like, no, you know, because she's got a good heart, or he's got a good heart, just good, great personality. You know, you know, they were telling you, and you're trying to play it down. Now you want to fight. You become a flying monkey before you become a source of supply, you know. But it's like this blinding, this blinders are over your eyes, and you can't see the truth. You don't see the truth anymore. You don't see the reality of what's going on. And you know, but what they do is that there are things about you that they admire. They want that education. They don't really want the education. They want the status that comes with that education. They want the status that comes with, you know, your friends. You're a happy-go-lucky person, or you just have this great personality. You have friends and the support system. They don't have any of that. Everything that they get it by force. They steal it. They take it. They force people into doing it. It's not a natural thing like it is for you. And then they're trying to mimic you, but they can only mimic and mock you because it's not true. It's not genuine. And so when something is not true, something is not genuine, you just don't do it anymore. That's why diets fail. Because really, you have to have a change of lifestyle, not just a change of eating to lose a certain amount of weight, because when you lose a certain amount of weight, those habits are still there. So you have to have a lifestyle change. And before you can lose weight, you got to change the way that you think about food. You have to change, why am I eating like this? You know, what triggers me to overeat? You know, what caused me to get obese? You know, so it's a lot of thinking involved before you actually change your eating habits. And so the same with a narcissist, you know, they look at where you are, they don't care less how you got there. They don't care about the hard work that they don't care about the hard work. They don't care about, the effort that you put forth, the education, the time you spend, the amount of money you've invested in yourself to get to where you are. They just want that. They want the end results. They want that right there. That's why a lot of women, or even a lot of men, when they look at, another person's spouse, now what I'm talking about, we're not talking about narcissists, but they look at, someone else's spouse, or maybe it could be a narcissist, but they look at another person's spouse and like, wow, I wish I had that. You don't know what that takes to keep. You don't know what that takes to keep their mind. You don't know what it takes for them to keep their sanity. You don't know what they go through behind closed doors, because what you see out in the open is not always what it is behind. See, the grass is greener on the other side till you get to the other side and find out you got astroturf. That's why a lot of people that left good relationship to get with a narc, because the narc has created this illusion and created this, it's that bait and switch, has created this image of, that's just like with cigarettes. Why it always got to be a sexy woman laying across the car smoking a cigarette? They didn't show you the ugly lungs. They didn't show you when the person got cancer and they started losing their hair or they're losing their teeth. They didn't show you all that. Put one of them people on the hood of a car, the one that has a hole in their neck that talks about, hey, and it doesn't have a voice box anymore. Put one of them on the hood of the car with a cigarette. I bet you won't buy the cigarettes then. It's all about advertisement. That's the same way about a narcissist. All about advertisement. It's all about pulling you in to their world, not them coming into your world. They're pulling you into their world. They're going to mimic and mirror you. And so as soon as they find out that you're a human, and they cannot see, they project their ugliness on you to make you think that you are just as flawed as they say they are. They take all your attributes. They take all those things that are valuable, that are good, that are beautiful, the love, the smile, the laughter, the beauty. They take all that upon themselves, and then they transfer that, they project that ugliness on you to make you think, you looking at them like, it make you think they look like Fiona, or they look like, Fire Marshal Bill off of Color, in Living Color. If you guys remember that show back in the day. But they project that on you, so you think that you look like that. You don't see the real you in the mirror anymore. You don't see all the wonderful things about yourself. But that was what they were after. And because they realize they can never get it, then they start to destroy that very thing and project, their ugliness on you. So you take upon how they feel about themselves, and they take upon how you really are. And it's not real. And so what they despise the most about you, especially those of you that have gotten out of the relationship, what they despise the most is that you got this thing called bounce back, is you got this thing called resiliency, is you got this thing called, I'm going to get myself together and I'm going to prosper. I'm going to ignore. They hate to be ignored. They hate to be no contacted. They hate for you to find them irrelevant, because their whole life stems around finding, making sure that people find the value in them, being seen. It's all about me. If I'm not the one making you laugh, then the joke is stupid. If I'm not the one getting the compliment for the outfit that you were wearing and I got the outfit on, well, it doesn't fit you the same way it fits her, or it doesn't look right on you than it does on him, then they're going to attack you. Now they're going to attack you. It's almost like, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? If you really look at the narcissist, you're dealing with this little child that never grew up. You're dealing with this individual that never grew up. And the things that they do at the level of an adult is the stuff that little kids do. No, my dad is bigger than yours. No, my mom is prettier than yours. My mom is a nurse. So my dad is an astronaut. I'm going to have that car one day. No, you're not. I'm going to have a car better than you. Everything that they do is about competition. I did a video on that competition. If you go get a degree, they got to go get 18 degrees. If I think someone said, if they're sick, they're going to be, if you're sick, they're going to be sicker. If you got sickle cell, then daggone it, they have no blood cells whatsoever. They don't have blood cells. If you have a headache, they have no head. They've got to be so dramatic, and they have to outdo you. Someone has HIV. Well, I got the something. I don't even know. I like to laugh at my own self. I couldn't even think of a word. I was on a roll right then. But, and those that have HIV, it doesn't mean you're going to die. It means you have attained something, and there are treatment out there for it. But I mean, even something that's serious, they'll take that and they'll take the focus off of that, just to focus on them. Well, my hair follicles are breaking. What does that have to do with HIV? What does that have to do with cancer? Do you understand that this is a serious life-changing matter? It doesn't matter, but it's all about you. It's all about you and your problems. You always thinking about yourself. And most of you guys, the very thing you say is, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe this. Well, you're dealing with a narcissist. And remember, everything that they thought was so wonderful, because they thought, literally, they thought they were going to steal those attributes. How do you steal a person's attributes? You can mimic it and you can mock it, but you can never duplicate an original. Now that sounded good. You can mimic, you can mirror, and you can mock, but you can never duplicate an original. You are an original. They would never be able to duplicate an original, ever. They can pretend to be you, they can act like you, they can talk like you, and usually when they get into a new relationship with a new supply, they take all these attributes from all these people and they create this monster, and they go into this new relationship with all these attributes from different people, and they present this, to include the mirror image of that individual. It's like the bone collector. They just collect all these, and they got all this hanging around their neck, all these bones from different people hanging around, and it's just rattling, just rattling, but they've collected all this from all these individuals and left these individuals depleted, looking like the crypt keeper, dried up, sick. They feel like they have, slowly aging. I think someone asked about the slowly aging. You've got to get up and you got to do it again. You got to take this experience and safeguard yourself. You got to get this experience. I mean, you have to take this experience and make something happen. A lot of you guys were asking about my story, and usually I don't come on and talk about my story. I did on live on Sunday. I had several people ask me about my story. And so I gave, part of my story. And then I showed you that if I went through what I went through, and some of it is not even as bad as you guys went through, but if I went through what I went through and I took that and I'm teaching you guys, I'm educating, I look at it as, the devil let me look into his court. The devil let me see how they play in the street. I've learned some stuff that nobody else knows about. That's how you look at it. You let me into your world. And when you let me into your world, you let me see how you function. And you know what? I'm going to escape. And now I'm going to take all this information.
Hello, who's been rolling with me? Did not check my videos. Check my videos. Is a videos called "The Vampire Cannot Come into Your House Unless You Invite Him In." Unless you invite him in. I might play a little bit of that video because I'm very serious. I'm very serious when it comes to better mental health. I'm very serious when it comes about when women thinking that something is wrong with them, and I want to show you there's nothing wrong with you. For men too. But I want to know what you're thinking is absolutely correct. But sometimes they don't gaslight you so much that you don't know which way is up. But there's nothing wrong with you. What you see is what you see. But I'm going to play a little bit of that video. But after she is finished, and don't worry, truly, every day I'm going to be doing, that's what I used to do before they put me on a strike. Every day I showed something containing narcissism. Every day. So you hear Chill in the Roll and you undercover sniper, you undercover sniper. We're gonna get to know stuff. We're gonna get these conversations going. Cause see, I'd rather have this amount of people in here learning than have a room full of a lot of people that's worrying about bullshit. I'd rather have people that want to elevate themselves and elevate their mind. But back to the basics. I know we've been together for a while. So I think we met on Underrated Darkness channel. But you got to come in more often when we do these topics. That's my job to show you. You're not. You're not. And then my main thing is for people who don't know, there's nothing wrong with learning what these behaviors are. So you know to run. You know to run. But let me finish with this, and I'm going to show y'all a little bit of the vampire video that I made. But I still like to, I still like for you guys to hear things from professionals. So I'm not a professional. I just study people for a living. But these are professionals. So I like for you to hear from the professionals. Then you can hear from little old me. Little old me. That's why people worrying about, you got more people worrying about Egypt and things that happened 50 million years ago. But they can't tell you what's going on now. What's destroying them now? They can't tell you none of that. Mm-mm. Remember, narcissistic people is highly intelligent. Highly intelligent.
Information and use it against you. That's how you have to see the enemy. And when I say the enemy, I mean this person that has shape shifted and ruined your life, has attacked your mind, has attacked your soul, has attacked your family, you know, everything about you, your finances. They have attacked everything. Look at it as you've allowed me to peek into your world, and now that I've peeked into your world and I've escaped from it, now I'm going to tell people about this insidious being. I'm going to tell people about this world that I look into to make people more aware. And a lot of you guys have stories, especially the men. We need to hear from the men. You guys need to be writing books to let people know that it's not just the women that have been through this. And so I'm telling you guys, this could be the greatest change in your life. The hardest part is getting beyond the emotional hurt and the emotional damage, the emotional pain. Get into good counseling. And remember what I've told you before. I put this disclaimer out there. You know, if you have children or you are married, you can't just jump up and run. Different states have different laws. You know, there are agencies like the YWCA and like domestic violence agencies that help those. And I know a lot of you are dealing with the physical abuse, but the mental abuse, but they also assist you with relocating, changing your identity, safeguarding you. You know, they do have like the YWCA here. They are connected to the legal system that assist you with your escape. Get it documented so you can, you can move on and get, healing. But and those of you with children, you can't just jump up and run, because they can say in certain states, they can say you got up and you kidnapped your children, especially if you don't have any proof or you never kept record or people can't vouch for you as to why you're running. They fight you in the legal system. They fight you in the courtroom. They fight you and they smear your name. They've smeared your name to their friends. They have taken their story at what they have done to you, and with the new supplies and the flying monkeys and to their friends, they've taken that story and flipped it around and make it seem like it was you. But what I tell you guys is don't react, respond. And for some things, a response is not required. You don't have to defend yourself. You. A person that's constantly having to defend themselves makes me wonder, like, why you keep defending yourself? And a lot of times it's because of the fact that all your life you had to defend yourself. All your life you had to fight. Color purple, y'all. But all your life you had to defend yourself. All your life you had to explain yourself. And some of you explain. You are free. For those of you that are out the relationship, you are free. Find good legal advice, legal assistance, support groups. Find a good counselor that understands narcissist abuse. A lot of them are not trained on it yet. And so sometimes you can teach them. Find a domestic violence advocate or a legal advocate. Find these agencies and utilize them. That is what they are there for. Show them my videos, show them Quinn Holiday's videos, show them Angie Atkinson's videos. Go and show these people these videos to give them hey, I recommend going to watch this. Hey, I recommend you going and listening to these videos to give them an education of what they're dealing with. Some of you guys were telling me you're in law school. Some of you guys are the medical professionals. You guys have been abused by a narcissist. You got to get this information in there and out there. You recognize it. You might be the one person that saves someone's lives in the medical arena. You might be that one person that recognizes in the medical field, in the legal system, wherever you are at. In a hairdresser, it doesn't matter. But you may be that one person that's able to rescue another person from either committing suicide, committing murder, or being killed themselves. And so hopefully this has helped you guys. I want you guys to stay strong and know that everything that narcissist has said that was negative to you, flip it back around. They put their attributes on you. And everything they tell you that you can't do, you know, because they tell you a lot of stuff that you can't do is the very things that you can do. A lot of times they can foresee how great you're going to be, and the wonderful attributes about you. They can see your future before you can see your future. They tell you, and they'll tell you that, you know, you think you all that. No, you think I'm all that. You know, oh, so you think you're gonna be Hollywood. No, you think I'm gonna be Hollywood. So see, they see your potential and you don't see your potential, but they can see it, and that's what they're attacking. As long as they can keep you in the dark, you'll never progress and move forward, because they want to keep you confused. They love confusion. They're the most confused. Oh gosh, they're the most confusing people you'll ever meet in the world, because in their mind and in their soul, they're confused. They're dark on the inside. They don't feel empathy. They don't feel love, and they cannot connect. They cannot bond with people. Okay, so hopefully this has helped you guys today. Hopefully this is a word of encouragement to someone. Share these videos, get these videos out there. You guys start making these videos. I'm here to support you. I'm gonna keep it real. So if it's garbage, I'm gonna tell you it's garbage. If I think that you're gonna pull in a narc, then I'm gonna tell you, hey, you need to pull your videos, because you mess around and you're gonna pull a narc.
In the vampire ed is the topic, Ken. How are you doing? Things about your past. But what you don't understand is the vampire is looking at, okay, this happened to you. Do you think this vampire feels sorry for you? No. They want to see how strong you are now. And a lot of people tell these stories about probably being abused.
One of my old videos. One of my old videos.
Want to hear okay, now after that happened, what did you do? Because all you talk about probably is the struggle. You don't let them know, yeah, I went through this, never again. You don't form no type of, hey, Donna, oh, Donna, just being real. This is true. You can't come in without letting them in. That's why lonely, thirsty for love are perfect victims to them. Don't wear your heart on your sleeve. My girl, Donna, oh my goodness, it's so good to see you, sis. So as you're talking to people, you have to take in mind, what you are saying. What are you saying? How are you saying it? How are you saying it? Are you talking now with conviction? Are you talking now with boundary lines? Or are you just telling the story? That's like telling somebody you okay, hey, I'm broke. Okay, that people want to hear, are you working there? So people figure that you're still broke. You didn't say, well, I was broke, but never again. Be careful how you talk about your baby daddy or your baby mama. Certain things don't need to be explained or exposed. But if you are going to talk about it, you have to talk about it with strength and conviction. Like, I'm not the one to play with. Been there, done that. I'm not going back there. I don't think so. I wish you would try it. When you talk, you got to let them know off the top. If you choose to divulge your business, you have to learn how to get there. See, when you're not at that point where you have boundaries, guess what? You opening up a space for vampires. When you don't have this thing called boundaries and say what you mean and mean what you say. If you tell a man, if you cheat on me one time, I'm not going to deal with you no more. You better mean what you say, what you mean, and mean what you say. Because that vampire is going to try you. They're going to see if they can't beat you in the head with your past, because they're going to do that too. They're going to try to see if you are strong as you say you are. As strong as you say you are. And they're going to work on you to try to bring you down. They're gonna try to put you in a space where you're comfortable, but they really tricking you. They really tricking you. So believe me, say what you mean and mean what you say, and be prepared to take a loss. It's okay. It is okay. But you must be a woman or man of your word. If you do this, I am going to do that. And you better mean it. That's a shocker to a vampire. You would crush that vampire to so many different pieces. You know why? Because you didn't give him a chance to have a backup. He gonna let that vampire fall for a little bit. Hello, North Kings. How you doing? Welcome aboard this love train. I'm glad you are here. Nice to see you too. But in order to learn how to forgive others, you must learn how to forgive yourself. You have to say, what happened exactly? Too many people just meeting in person, telling too much of their business. That goes in the workplace. Trifling people will take it in memory bank to use it against you. Exactly. Remember, when I mean vampire, I don't mean boyfriend and girl. I mean people in general. I'm talking about people in general. Remember, the vampire cannot come through your door unless you invite them in. And you have to forgive yourself for not recognizing the red flags. There are always red flags. Forgive yourself for not recognizing them. Maybe you didn't know the red flags. Maybe you didn't know this was a con artist. Maybe because you've never been around con artists and you don't know how con artists work. But that's, you say, I forgive myself for not knowing what con artist is, and I got conned. I did not know what love was all about. So when fake love came to me, I did not know what real love was. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for being a friend to a person who was not a friend to me. I forgive myself. Because if you don't learn how to recognize the part that you played in your own demise, you're going to go insane. That means you're going to keep doing the same thing and getting the same results. Like, you got some people, they think that, like, in their mind, their adrenaline starts to pump up, and they figure, okay, I got done dirty. I'm going to get the best body. I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to be flossing. I'm going to make that person wish they never left me, or I'm going to make that friend. No, none of that works, because they got the next victim already. They already sucked what they needed to suck out of you. And you can improve yourself. You can get your face done, your breasts done, your butt done, your stomach sucked in. You can do all of that. But until you recognize what was missing in you, that you let them vampires in, you're going to go through it again. Just another character. You got some people who go through, you will hear people 40s, 50s, and 60s still have not put the pieces together. The common denominator is me. What am I? What happened to me? Why I keep finding the same old people? Why I keep finding the same old group of friends? Why I keep getting the same men? Why I keep letting family treat me like this? Why am I always a stepping stool for somebody? Like, why am I always treated like a doormat? And certain things, and you may be a laid back person, maybe you need to find ways to do things as a laid back person, not to be taken advantage of. You know, sometimes you don't change, but you got to find other ways of doing stuff that fits your personality. Your personality may not change, but your actions can change. You are the person who controls you. You may not be that person that rah. That might not be you. But they get played too. They get done dirty too. And a lot of them don't know how to leave the vampires that's in their life. All they do is sit around and argue with their vampires all day. They fight with their vampires all day. These are the people who's constantly fighting all the time. And it's like, I never see somebody who has to fight or want to fight all the time. And maybe it didn't click to her. Maybe I need anger. I'm angry at something that somebody could bring me out of myself. Why do I want to punch this person in the face? Is it the person? What did they really do that would make you want to harm that person that much? And sometimes it's just about a simple look. Oh, not ready to fight this person. The person looking at, where somebody else can go through the same thing and just live their life, pay it no mind, and live their lives. You really have to learn how to not let the vampire in so you can get some form of forgiveness. But before you can forgive somebody else, you must learn how to forgive yourself. You have to find the red flags in people, and you have to find the missing things in you. You know, what happened with mommy? What happened with daddy? What happened with my siblings? Sometimes your siblings do you just as dirty. Could be your cousins. It could be your family. Could it be that you was a vampire and that was getting done back to you? But it's so many things. But we're talking about forgiveness. How do you forgive? How do you forgive? We are going to leave it there because we're going to come back to these things. These things we're going to come back to. Can't give you everything. Cannot give you everything. But we're going to definitely come back to there. You know? Well, how do you guys feel about the videos? How do you guys feel about the video? Would you like to see more videos like this? I mean, where you can talk yourself, you know, let me know. Let me know. Because I'm ready to end this and either go on the other side, to the other side of my other channel, or I may go to my bed. I don't know. Now press 2. That's right, press 2. And women, oh, I've been liking the videos. Oh, thank you, Tina. I didn't even know y'all was still in here. Thank you. Yeah, but y'all have to know, you know, go with your gut. If something is not right, it's not right. And stop justifying. Stop justifying anything anybody does to you. Stop justifying it. Oh, they like to joke a lot. Well, you know she crazy. Nah. Especially from your spouse. Ain't shit cute. Ain't nothing cute. It's not. Don't laugh. People, want you to smile. Don't be smiling unless it's funny. Do not be laughing. Do not try to impress a man. You need to be sitting up there. If you could be a man talking about a woman, it goes either way. You need to be trying to read that person and find out what the red flags are. So you could throw some of the red flags out really quick and see if they catch it. See if you can throw some of the red flags out and see if they catch it. And then run like hell. But I would definitely catch you guys on the other side. Yeah, I catch you guys on the other side. Let's see what effery is going on over there. Because I don't have none of that on this page. Oh, that's on my other page. But we're going to see what effery is going on. I thank you guys. I thank you guys. And I want to do another one from that. What is he? A manosphere? He's not manosphere. An alpha fair. They got too many. There's too many different men for me. God damn. But we're going to do more of that. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys. Hopefully you got the purpose of this video is if you get something out of it. So if you got something out of it, I did my job. Now it's time for the effery. For the effery. All right, guys. I see you on the other side. Peace out.